feel like we need those lights over here for Coach Weber so we can feel like we're on Big Ten Network for Coach Weber here at the halftime. Coach Weber going into the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame earlier today. Coach, congratulations on that honor. What was this morning like for you?
It was really nice, to be honest. It's great, one, that the Valley does this. I appreciate that. I kind of talked at the beginning, my fear for college basketball, college sports, the way things are going, NIL, people moving, are you going to have a Hall of Fame? Are you going to have reunions? The things to me, that's what you have a program. It's about your family, and you have family reunions because you stay together and you love each other. And now the way things are happening, I'm not sure you're going to have it, but the Valley, it's great tradition. You open that book, the names there from the first group was like Larry Bird, Wes Unseld, Oscar Robinson. I mean, this is like, whoa. And Bruce Weber? No, I don't know if I belong there with those guys.
But you mentioned it, Coach Weber. You have such an appreciation for this league and the history, not just in terms of the basketball side of it, but even through all of the athletic sports and the athletic calendar. Why do you appreciate it so much?
Well, one, it was my first place that I was here, and I always said it was kind of like a mini Big Ten, and I don't think you had the appreciation. Obviously, great history. Talking to Coach Ward, the baseball coach from Indiana State, he's an SIU guy. And I asked Mike Reese, did he announce his games too in 1960? And Mike got mad. He did a finger to me. I don't know what that meant, but it's just so many good people that have come through that care. You're talking, it's Jones, and it's a great league, and we were, Rodney, we were here when it was the glory days and the arena was full, and we were getting 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams. I just told the chancellor, I said, he goes, when did you win this thing? I never did, but we got at-large bids. Yeah. And, nowadays, I fear for Drake, to be honest, and VCU, and, if they don't win their tournament, can they get in? And that's the sad part to me, and that's why I would like expansion for the tournament. One, there's no better experience than for the student-athletes, if we truly care about them, to get more people and more of them in the tournament. And the other part, I want to save jobs for coaches, but I'd really like that they make sure that the teams that have great success in the season, they get a chance in the tournament, like a Drake, VCU this year. And I'm sure there's other ones that, if they don't win their tournament, that might not get in there, and they won't have that opportunity.
Coach, you were part of many NCAA tournaments when you're at Purdue as an assistant. You come here. Mitch Holt has said it best. This is really the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, the way this tournament's run. How important do you think the 0-2 tournament that we were a part of had to do with kind of putting us at ease going into the NCAA tournament and getting, kind of being ready for that hoop ball and all that stuff?
It's almost like a dress rehearsal, Rodney. There's no doubt about it. And the way they run it and the fan support, you get that feel of the NCAA tournament. And so now when you get there, it's not that the stage it's bigger, but it's still, you're kind of ready for it. And it also helps, to be in the tournament. If you've been there one time, now you're the second time, there's no doubt it helps. And I was very fortunate to have all those chances to coach in the tournament, and you hope you handle it the right way. You did it with your groups at Southern Indiana. You don't. I keep getting text messages this week. How should I handle the tournament? Hey, stay the same. Whatever you did to get to this point. A couple coaches I know have won their leagues. Brad Korn's one of them. You won your league, Brad. You don't have to change now. You just prepare the same way, and make sure the kids don't get overwhelmed. We all don't get overwhelmed stepping out on this court. Or when we were in the Final Four, don't get overwhelmed. I said, look around, take a deep breath, and let's go play basketball.
As you described, Coach Weber, what made that run, we talked about it over the summer, what was so impressive about those 6 straight NCAA tournaments for Southern. Only one of them was when they won this tournament.
Yes.
What, outside of just great coaches and obviously really good players, what makes this such a really challenging week for coaches?
Oh, it's special, but it's you get here to this tournament, and it could be a foul, it could be a injury. You got a guard go out yesterday. You just don't know. There's so many factors that you can't control, and obviously it's always, when you shoot the ball better, it always helps. And some days it's going in, some days it isn't, and I don't know if it's Dana Altman was really good at it. They would win this thing. And I had their game a few weeks ago, and we were talking, and He goes, Bruce, you guys would win the league, and then we beat you in the tournament. And they beat us one time here, Rodney, about 40. I think it was 50 to 20.
King got an intentional foul. Now we're not. I think the statute of limitations have passed. That wasn't. King wasn't touching anybody. Coach, you made a great point today at the breakfast, beautiful celebration and ceremony. You talked about how things were when you got to SIU in that late spring of '98, and in 3 years. This team was going to the Sweet 16. It can flip. I mean, you got it. You got it flipped. You did it with great hard work. What's your encouragement to Saluki fans that are just so hungry for this thing to get back to those glory days?
And it can change. And it, you know, the thing I know, fans now are impatient. And I'm doing the Big Ten Network, and my thing is to be an ambassador for the league, for the coaches to help. I keep talking about patience. I keep talking about don't panic. You know, and it's hard for fans. It's just the nature of how things are. And now with social media, they have a voice. So, you know, they can throw that out there, and then, it gets expanded so many times. But, hey, it get the right type of players. I think one of the things for me in this day and age of the portal, you've got to get good kids. You got to get kids that are well coached. You've seen it with Drake. Yeah. I mean, obviously now Drake's been pretty good, but this is a whole big different group, right? And I think and I tell guys, you know, even in the Big Ten, you better find guys that were well coached and that won. You know, and if you can get those kind of ingredients, now you got a chance to coach them. You know, and if they don't have character and they're not going to work hard, you know, and now you're dealing with money, throwing around money, I think it gets really hard to coach them, and that makes it tough.
Look, I know this is obviously Saluki Radio, Coach Weber, but is this the first time you've been able to see Drake this year? What's been your impression?
Yeah, it is, and I hear, and I know Ben. He was at Northwest Missouri. I was at K-State. You know, kind of clinics, different things overlap with them, and I watched him when he was at the D2 school playing in the championships. And Rodney, he's a good coach. There's no doubt, but they are really good defensively. And I know their guard is really good, and he can make plays, but I think SIU's done a nice job of really kind of stifling them. They just, that couple turnovers, that little stretch, but their defense, that good, solid defense. You know, when you ask what wins in the tournament, defense always gives you a chance. And I know it's old school. Michigan State just won. I talked to Matt Painter yesterday. They just won the Big Ten with 10 guys. None of them are really highly recruited kids. And Matt goes, who's the MVP in the league? And then Matt said, my MVP is Michigan State defense. And he goes, I can't vote for them, but and defense, when the ball doesn't go in, if you still get stops, you stay in the game, you get a couple turnovers, and maybe you get a couple layups, and then the ball goes in, a couple shots, and game changes very quickly.
Games can change quickly, and hopefully it does here for Southern. Coach Weber, again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
You.
Thanks for coming by.
Good to be here.
Thanks,
always
congratulations
will appreciate
again.
SIU. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rodney, for all you've done for SIU.
We'll take a break. This is the Built Ford Tough, powered by Mediacom halftime.